Hi, my name is Cynthia Dartley. I'm the president and owner of Parlor Marketing and Entertainment. I'm also the editor-publisher of Macaroni Kid, from Fairfield to Milford. And I'm here with Cathy Siroka.
And I am the publisher and editor of Macaroni Kid, from Westport to Greenwich, which is a website for families about events, activities, reviews, ideas, and recipes, which is why we're here today to talk about one of Cynthia's favorites.
My apple chutney wontons. And Cathy, the version you're going to be doing.
I'm going to be doing basically the same recipe with a gluten-free twist.
So let's get started. So what we first need to do is we need to take 6 apples here, and I've got a whole variety from apple picking. We have some tart Granny Smith as well as some Empire, and we're going to peel and core them, Cathy, and we're going to cut them into little bits and put them directly into our saucepan to start the chutney. Next we'll be doing 1 cup of yellow onion. Start to chop that. And again, it's going to be a rough chop. Most chutney is actually typically made with fruits and vegetables. And the one that I've had before, which is delicious, and onion obviously, and the vinegar helps preserve it. But mango is a wonderful chutney, and that's what you can pretty much get commercially. Our next step is to put 2 tablespoons of minced ginger. So you can just get fresh ginger in the grocery store and use a cheese grater. And I always roughly guesstimate what the measurements are, but if you want to be specific, you certainly can. Juice from 2 oranges. So if you want to cut this one up, you want to cut that one up?
Okay, yep.
Either way.
Just half?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Juice away.
And then I put my little juicer, got my juicer with us.
Got it. I will juice away.
3/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. And then we put in 1 cup of light brown sugar, and it can be loosely packed. And then our next ingredient is mustard seeds.
Great.
And we put about 1 teaspoon, and this is how I measure teaspoons. My grandmother taught me a pinch of this, a pinch of that.
Right.
That's about right
Perfect.
there. Then we have 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Now this can be optional. If your children or if, your family at home is not adventurous with eating, they don't like things too spicy, you can certainly take this out. I find though that it's really not too spicy, but again, it's always easier to add than to remove. So we are going to be doing about 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1½ teaspoons of kosher salt. You want to do that just in the palm of your hand?
Sure.
And I only use kosher salt. It's really the best, most flavorful. Perfect.
Like this?
Beautiful. Beautiful. So you stir it, you put it on the stove, and then you let it come to a boil. Then after it comes to a boil, you reduce the heat and let it simmer for about an hour. All right, so while our chutney is simmering, we're going to get started on what goes into making the cream cheese ice cream as an a la mode. So you'll be taking 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. You'll want to have that softened. You'll also be taking 1 cup of milk. You'll also be putting in a blender, and you're putting this all into a blender, 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. Then you're also going to be putting in some 3/4 cup of sugar, really as much sugar as you'd like. It calls for about 1 cup for most ice creams, but I put in 3/4 cup. And what I also do is I put in vanilla beans into my sugar to make it a vanilla scented sugar, which is really lovely. It gives it an extra flavor. And then you're going to put about 1/8 teaspoon of kosher salt. You're going to whip that up in a blender to incorporate those ingredients. Then you take it out of the blender into a bowl. You stir in about a ½ cup of heavy cream into that bowl, and then you put that directly into the ice cream maker, and you follow the ice cream maker's manufacturer's instructions. After your chutney has been reduced to, it looks like a very thick applesauce, chunky applesauce, after about an hour of simmering, you're going to be adding 1/3 cup of raisins. You can use any kind of raisins you want. I happen to have chosen golden raisins because they were left in my cupboard. So this is already prepared apple chutney, and we're going to start to fill our wontons. I'll be doing the regular wonton wrappers. I'll be using those that I got at my local grocery store. And Cathy?
I got these at a local Whole Foods, and they are gluten-free soy-based wrappers, and they come in many colors using vegetable dyes. They're vegetarian.
And this would be a great idea to have the kids just sort of take about a teaspoonful, so ½ of a tablespoon here. You fill the center of the wonton with that apple chutney mixture. You wet your fingers. You go along the outside of the wonton wrapper. Then you make a triangle and you press. And then you move that and you lay it right out onto a parchment-lined baking sheet.
Whilst, side by side next to somebody who's cooking using gluten or wheat-based products, the best way to keep them separate is simply to use separate baking dishes, and obviously separate cutting boards. And that's the best way to prevent cross-contamination if there is someone in your house who has, a real gluten intolerance.
Once the wontons are placed on your baking sheet, you give them a quick spray on the top. Because we're baking them, we want them to develop like a very golden kind of a crust on the outside. So we put them on the center rack, and we cook them for about 15 minutes until they get golden brown on the top, particularly around the edges. When they're cool to the touch, you can even serve them warm. You can start to plate the wontons. And here I already have the ice cream. Once your ice cream is done in your ice cream maker, you can put it in an airtight container and you can store it in your freezer for at least 2 weeks. Take it out about 5 minutes before you're ready to plate. So this way the ice cream is nice and soft. And again, that's the cream cheese ice cream. And each one of your guests can get 4 of the wontons. Scoop of that delicious ice cream. You can put that right on the top if you'd like. And then I garnish it, I top it off with a little bit of our orange peel, and voila.